many tals in Chhattar? How many beats?
You've been the block development officer. So how do you plan your work? What do you see on ground? How do you meet people? And what do you think is your priority given what has been stipulated to you by certain other orders from the seniors that you get?
Yes, sir.
So a combination of what you get from your seniors, some mandates, interaction with the people. So how do you go about it?
You are a debater also, so I'll give you 1 minute. Okay. Present a case in the United Nations for permanent seat in the UNSC
Okay, sir.
for India.
Can I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir.
Please come in, Aparajita. Be seated.
Thank you, sir.
So, tell us something about yourself.
Yes, sir. So my name is Aparajita Aryan and I hail from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. I have completed my bachelor's with honors in commerce and subsequently pursued my post-graduation in economics. Additionally, I also hold a diploma in Visharad in Kathak. In 2023, I cleared Jammu Kashmir combined competitive exam, and in which I was allotted Jammu Kashmir Administrative Service. I am currently holding the charge of a block development officer in the office of Assistant Commissioner Panchayat Jammu. And apart from my academics and work, I cherish my time spent with family and friends.
So, your interest in Kathak.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, which are the, or in the various ragas of Hindustani classical music, which is the appropriate raga for this month of the year?
I'm sorry, sir. I'll take a moment. I'll read about it, sir. I cannot.
And what would be the rag for this time of the day?
I'll have to
It's okay.
go back
Okay,
and
just mine. Okay. Another question on music. How many tals in Chhattar? How many beats?
I am not aware, sir.
Now, since you've given Kathak as your, so I'm tempted to ask you some more questions on music.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In Pakhawaj, what is the, how many beats you have for a teen tal?
Sir, I'm not aware, sir.
Okay. You've done accountancy, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why is the buyback of securities resorted to?
So, sir, I'm going blank on this, sir.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay. What would you recommend or endorse? Would it be business in ethics or ethics in business?
Sir, businesses are mostly they're mostly focused on profit making. So I will recommend ethics in business and not business in ethics, because then
Very
they
good.
will not be able to work.
Yeah, very good. Okay. To a layman who wishes to enter the share market, the equities, what would be a correct parameter for him to go by? Would it be EPS or PE, or which way? What should he read?
So for a layman, understanding the complexities of the stock market is difficult. So the basic parameters could be going by the profitability or the basic ratios of a company. For example, debt to equity, the profitability ratio, the liquidity ratio, they can be good parameters for knowing whether they should invest in a company or not.
What is the hybrid in a mutual fund?
So I am not sure about that.
What are the simple problems of computation of income of individuals? How do you calculate them? The computations. You've forgotten all of your this thing? ने ये सब किया है, तो कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंसी एंड ऑल दैट, नो?
Yes, sir.
कैसे भूल गए आप? कितना पहले किया? when did you do your graduation?
So I completed in 2016.
What is a 360-degree feedback?
So 360 feedback on
In your HR, they conduct a 360-degree feedback in the companies. What is it meant
so
to
I'm
do?
not sure.
Eh?
No, sir.
Your optional has been, how does Anthro aid an understanding of Indian communalism?
So, anthropology is a study of human beings, and in that, religion is a very big component to study how the structures of society are made. So, religion makes a very big component, a chunk of how societies work and structures work in a society. So, communalism, sir, is one such fault line in our society today. So when we study communalism, the problem of communalism arises from the fact that two groups can be very hardlined on their own thoughts and expression. So when this can lead to a disenchantment in the people with regards to a common communal harmony, sir. When they think they have come at odds with each other, the thought process doesn't align to each other. So this problem can be solved from the fact that when anthropology studies, they try to understand the core problems of a group. So by that principle, we not only try to solve it superficially, that it is a communal problem, we try to go deep into the reasons as to why that problem arises and what can be a plausible solution. Not to take a very hard approach of just taking it a communal way, but going deep into what could be the root causes of that and working on that. So.
Okay. What is diffusionism in Anthro?
Yes, sir. So diffusionism was one of the early schools of anthropology, which came as a reaction to the classical evolutionism, which believes that because classicals believe that everything was invented at one place, but diffusionism believed that it did not invent at one place, though they also believed that heliocentric school also believed it was from one place and then got diffused to the other places. For example, if we talk about if we have to take a very simplistic example, then we could say that the Egyptian civilization could be one center of evolution, and that from there to the other places, the culture got diffused.
Okay. What would be the distinction between microeconomics and macroeconomics?
Yes, sir. So the microeconomics would deal with the principles of demand and supply, and it could deal with very individual companies, corporations, their economics. If I run my own company, that my balance sheet and everything would also come into microeconomics. But when we talk about macroeconomics, it could be either a national economy, it could be global economy, which talks about more comprehensive things.
So
like
the canvas gets larger.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What has been the impact of removal of 370 in JNT?
So the impact has been, now that we are in the 4th year of the removal, I would say that the impact has been good. To talk about the economy has improved from leaps and bounds. The infrastructure has got a major push. The railway lines, the tunnels are being made, and apart from that, the food processing has got a major boost. We have many schemes of the government of India are now applying, for example, the RTE Act, the RTI, SCST, Prevention of Atrocities Act. So these are some good social inclusion acts that were not applied to the J&K prior to 2019, but they are now applied.
Why are some people saying it is not done good for us?
So it was an initial reaction and a resentment as to it was believed that it was a unilateral decision by the center. But I think, sir, more or less it has subsided now, and people are looking at the fruits of development, because tourism at its all-time high, 2.18 crore people have visited Jammu and Kashmir this year. So people are now accepting it, that maybe a more citizen-centric approach could have taken by the government, but now they're happy that it has happened, and people have now accepted the abrogation, and they're looking forward to the Supreme Court judgment also, that maybe the statehood could be restored and more representation of people of Jammu and Kashmir could be again restored. So,
How far have we progressed on women empowerment?
sir, I presume you are talking about
No,
India. sir?
overall, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I would say it's a mixed bag.
Rather, what remains to be done?
Okay, sir. So we need to first, I think, again, being an anthropologist, I would say we need to work on the root cause. The root cause being the patriarchy, which is not only instilled very deep in the minds of the men, but also women. Women are the major reflect the people who take it on to the next generation. So I think we need to, women empowerment can only happen when the psyche of women also change, not only men. Men are progressing, men are taking equal participation, but women need to change. Apart from that, sir, politically, if I have to say, more empowerment in terms of skilling of women, good education, which can be done through improving we have worked miles for making good toilets in schools, gender education, menstrual cycle, and awareness about that. But what needs to be added is the change in the curriculum, which talks more of the female centric education also, that needs to be changed. And apart from that, sir, I think good schools, cycles can be, many governments provide cycles to female, that can be a good initiative. And then, sir, behavioral and attitudinal change.
Okay, very good. Thanks, sir.
Okay, you studied in army school.
Yes.
How did you get admission to army school?
So they have a very small quota for civilian population as well. So, sir, by that.
Okay. So, what was your advantage being amongst those lot of people over there? What
Sir,
did you learn there?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think that has been a life-changing experience, because though they have a very small quota for civilian population, but over the time it became a army public school. So then they increased the quota for civilian population also. And sir, from a very lower rank officer's child to the highest official in army, every kind of student used to study in army school, and then a fair representation of civilians also. So it was a very heterogeneous group in that sense, which was not possible in any private school of that area. So it helped me learn discipline first, how to adjust to people of different sections, sectors of the society. So, sir, and sir, I think major was obedience and discipline.
Did you experience or heard about that Jawan's children are doing better than the officers' children, or vice versa, or it depended on case to case? Or did it had to do something with the category they belong to, like officer's son, Jawan's son? Academic performance relating to the backgrounds. Did it make any difference?
Sir, I had friends from all sections. I would say, sir, my personal experience has been, I had a friend from an officer background, I had a friend from a family of Jawans. I think, sir, there's not much of a difference, because I would say schooling, because that was initial schooling was same.
So education equalizes.
Yes, sir, it equalizes. Having said so, sir, definitely the family of a officer has greater exposure to a very posh society, so that instills a lot of elegance and a lot of poiseness into the personality of a young child. So that,
But academic performance remains more or less the
yes,
same.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You have been the block development officer.
Yes, sir.
So how do you plan your work? What do you see on ground? How do you meet people? And what do you think is your priority given what has been stipulated to you by certain other orders from the seniors that you get?
Yes, sir.
So a combination of what you get from your seniors, some mandates, interaction with the people. So how do you go about it?
Sir, planning my day is the first thing that I do in the morning. When I go, I see what are the targets that I have to do for the day. So, as you mentioned, there are some targets which have to be achieved by the day. So, I personally look into it, and then I have a team of some dedicated colleagues and officers which I know are proficient in doing the daily and mundane tasks. So I just check on them that whether they are doing it properly or not, and delegate some of the routine work to them. Apart from that, sir, I have a fixed time where I meet.
No, I'm talking of planning, not execution part. Planning first.
Yes, sir.
How do you plan that I need to do this?
Yes, sir. So I have a
That
day.
I need to do this in the next 1 year.
Okay, sir. So, as a block development officer, our major task is to execute the work. So, most of my day is planned that whatever schemes that are running, I have to at least do inspection for
So
some
what,
of the
what were the schemes you were handling?
Yes, sir. Sir, we were majorly working on the Swachh Bharat mission, Gramin, because I'm posted in headquarters, sir. So I'm not in the block right now. Otherwise, I would have handled more
All right.
schemes.
How is a bill passed in Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha? Very briefly, 3 lines.
So bill goes through scrutiny by the departmentally related standing committees. Then it comes to the parliament. Discussion happens. Then voting happens.
Who discusses?
So the members of
Members.
the parliament. Sir.
Is sufficient presentation given, sufficient statistics given?
Yes, sir.
How is it?
So there
In quick succession, too many bills are passed. So where is the question of?
Yes, sir. The discussion on the bills have it has the time period has shortened, but then also, sir, the bills.
And if the bills were passed, then why were the bills on food related, agriculture related, listed as black bills and things like that?
Yes, sir. So some of the cases we have seen in the recent past where the bills have not gone through the proper scrutiny, and that is why they are being contested. One being the farm bill, sir.
So is it too much of a hurry or too much of push that we need to do it in a certain period of time? What is it? Because unless the financial aspects, the implementational aspects are looked into, how can it be?
Yes, sir. So many reports have also flagged this issue that the time period for discussing the bill has gone down, but it can also be because of certain changes that the government of the day must be thinking that are in the because we have seen unprecedented change in the last years post the pandemic. There has been food inflation is on an high, and maybe the government of the day is thinking that certain bills need to be passed through with majority. So maybe because of that, sir. But a larger discussion is in everyone's interest.
Who should be involved when passing a bill or formulating a bill or conceiving the whole idea? Who all should be involved?
So right.
Have you heard of Simon Commission?
Yes, sir.
Tell me 2 lines about it.
Sir, it was an all-white commission constituted in 1927 to discuss the constitutional reforms of 1919, the Montagu-Chelmsford.
So who was to be applied on?
It was to the Indians, sir, and they were not consulted.
So
Right, sir.
that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And similarly, this about C2 plus 50% and all. Swaminathan thing.
Yes, sir.
So who calculated that this is the financial expenditure on the state? Who worked that out? And who agreed to this?
Yes, sir.
And why is the problem today?
Yes, sir. This has been a major bone of contention between the farmers and the
No, but who said yes, it's okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It needs to be discussed with the larger. There should be academia, there should be farmers, and there should be government who should come on one page. And
So you mean to say the people who are involved, affected, the stakeholders should also be involved
yes, sir.
in anything that is decided for anybody?
Definitely, sir.
Okay. Recently, rather this week, Kerala government has passed a resolution stating that there is a requirement of revision of Wildlife Act 72.
Okay, sir.
And basically they are talking of the human wildlife conflict.
Right, sir.
What change are they suggesting?
Sir, I think I skipped this, but human wildlife conflict is on a rise, and because in economic development and environmental issues need to go side by side, and because Wildlife Protection Act is very stringent when it comes to protection of wildlife. So, in order to keep the economic development in tandem with the environmental sustainability,
And hazards to the human life,
yes, sir.
that also has to be taken care of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Certain restrictions were removed while bringing in electoral reforms, electoral bonds.
Yes.
What were those restrictions? Any one or two, if you remember.
Sir, you were talking about the Supreme Court
Yes,
verdict
striking
on it?
down.
Okay, sir. Sir, the Supreme Court has declared it unconstitutional. Or
No, वो ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
But what was the need for it? There were two restrictions which were removed by
Yes, sir.
amendments.
So first was earlier it was 7.5% and profit making, but they had converted it to the loss making companies could also contribute. So that was
And
the first.
to what extent?
So unlimited
Unlimited.
contribution.
So
they
that
could
was
do.
their point.
Yes, sir. One
Okay.
was that, and second was the foreign contribution, sir. They had allowed in retrospective effect the foreign contributions in political funding also, which also.
And what about 20,000 limit
Yes.
and anonymity?
Yes, sir.
So what was that?
So 20,000 and above, they could have. They could basically they wanted to. The government stand was that they wanted to ensure the donors' anonymity and to curb the black money. But Supreme Court has flagged that more any other approach could have taken proportional to the outcomes that the government could have wanted.
Okay, well done. Thank you.
So, Aparajita, you are working at video right now.
Yes.
What is the name of the blog?
Sir, I'm posted as a block development officer headquarter. So it's yes.
It's in the Deputy Commissioner.
Yes, sir. So it's in the office of Assistant Commissioner Panchayat. We have wings in the.
Okay. And the district is?
Sir, Jammu.
Jammu district.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who's the Deputy Commissioner of Jammu?
So it's Sachin Kumar Vaishya, sir.
Okay. So, as a BDO, what have been your major challenges so far?
So I would say there is a lack of coordination between various departments, because what happens is when we start a day, one call the BDO gets from the rural sanitation department, the other call is from development department, the other call is from others. So there is a lack of, and then thereby prioritizing the day becomes very difficult. So that is one problem. Second would be, sir, the problem of funding also. The BDOs do feel that the funding for schemes is tied, and then the developmental works which BDO can undertake themselves, it becomes difficult for them. And sir, the overall targets that are there, because there are so many schemes and you have to inspect and then work on it, it also becomes a very challenging task. When people are coming to your office, you have to go for the inspections and everything. That also becomes a challenge.
Okay. So I'm assuming that as a BDO you are an executive magistrate also?
No, sir. I am not. Tehsildars are given that power in our state.
Okay, so then just generally explain what is the duties of an executive magistrate.
So they can issue fines and they can levy penalties if there are any violation, but I'm not very sure about it, sir.
Okay. From which law do the executive magistrates get their powers?
I'll have to check, sir.
Okay. And I can see in your DAF that you have been an MGNF fellow also.
Sir, I cleared the fellowship, but then my Jammu Kashmir public service paper was around the corner, so I left. I did not join it, sir.
Okay. Then you are a debater also.
Yes, sir.
So I'll give you 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
Okay, present a case in the United Nations for permanent seat in the UNSC
Okay, sir.
for India.
Can I take a moment, sir? Sir, India is already the fifth largest economy, and it is believed to be the third largest in the next few years. India has shown its leadership in the recent G20 summit as well, and India has been historically also from the non-aligned movement to all-aligned movement. India has shown how it can take countries together, not just rally with one, but it can be it can be an independent mediator. India has done it in the past. India continues to show its reliance on the same principles now. On additional to this, India has built up its ties with almost all kind of geographies, all kind of nations. As Pakistan alleges, India is a nation which perpetrates violence on Islam. But on the contrary, with the West Asian nations, India has a very good understanding. The recent UAE or the Qatar visits of PM, our honorable PM, shows that. So it is a false narrative that has been created. Also, sir, the seat in UNSC should be given to India because the representation needs to increase. The UNSC is marred with challenges because of the heavy dominance of Europe and US. So that needs to change because the growth engines of today are not Europe but Asia. So I think on these parameters, India should also because we are a population of 1.5 billion, which is a very big population to not have a representation. So all these reasons could be well enough for India to have a representation in UNSC Council.
How we have rated your performance and some input we would like to give to you, which might help you secure better marks in the 2 or 3 things. First, the positives. It's our duty to do both positive and negatives. Positive, you are giving the data for tourism. That was very impressive. That is how a complete answer should be. If you bring in some data anywhere, it gives it adds to the candidate's presence. The board would then think that you know the subject, otherwise you would not have had the data for it. So you are giving data for tourism 2.18. That was impressive. One. Number 2, women, where you said that as an anthropologist, and you did try to bring in the concept of anthropology into the women empowerment. That's another, because if you draw from your own DAF and present it to the board as a part of your wholesome, it gives a good impression. So try to do that in more of your answers. One. Then you will have to, of course, you must have guessed, brush up on BCom, your those areas. Especially आपने दिया है, so there could be questions. There may not be, but there could be some gaps we are trying to. Then 2 and 360 degree EPS PE, ये सब तो आपको जानना है. Earning per share and ratio, price to equity. Hybrid you should know.
Okay, sir.
That's a new concept, especially in the mutual fund, where they try to bring in both the debt and the equity part.
Yes,
and try to balance it.
Right.
Sometimes when the market is going up, they'll go in for debt. If it is coming down, go in for equity, buy the equities, that sort of thing. So, then 2 things I must say. What your tendency is, twice I saw, एक जगह आपने, although it was not required, during consultation with the stakeholders, in that question, you mentioned farm bills. Suppose the next was, I have to draw questions from your answers.
Yes.
If I ask you to name the 3 farm bills, will you be able to do it?
Yes.
If you know it, it's a good strategy of drawing the board to something that you know very well.
Right.
But there could be a possibility that you don't know.
Okay.
I just took a chance. Suppose I had asked you, okay, you're saying farm bills. I didn't ask you the farm bills.
Right.
It was just a mere consultation process. So without mentioning a bill also, you could have got away. If you say that, then be prepared.
Okay.
अब जैसे suppose it would have cut a very sort of ठीक है ना, एक वो another one wildlife protection. He didn't ask you to mention the bill, the act. Wildlife protection you did mention. 1972 provisions were very strict. But suppose वहाँ से हम पूछने लगे which was the oldest wildlife protection act? Tell me. आप क्या बोलेंगे? है ना? So ये एक ऐसा area है ना that you try not to bring in facts where you are not too sure.
Okay, sir.
हाँ, अब आप कितना भी 1972 कीजिए, उससे पहले का कीजिए. First one was I think 1872 or 3. That was the Wild Birds Protection Act.
Okay, sir.
उतना पुराना. अब you may not be knowing it and you were not prepared also. That was not the focus of the question also.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है ना? It was only human वो conflict था, so उसको करके निकलिए. So before you answer, first let the question come to you and you think of what you are going to say and what you are not going to say also.
Okay, sir.
Ideally 2-4 seconds लीजिए. There is no harm waiting for 4 seconds to respond. So this is one area I thought I'll okay. Yeah. Otherwise your overall responses were very good. I would say I would rate them very very good. But just read into all these things.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Aparajita,
Yes, sir.
your tone, tenor, modulation, expression was quite natural. Your responses were very natural. If you knew a thing, you answered. If you did not know, you did not. That's okay. One small thing. Overall, कोई भी question आता है, you have to always keep in mind, you are an IAS officer. You have to keep in mind, what am I doing for people? What am I doing for people? So what am I doing? What does it involve? Money, decision making, finances, and implementation of that, pluses and the minuses of what you're going to do. All those things have to be kept in mind while planning any of your answers.
Right.
I related with bills. ठीक है? Like if I want to make a bill, I must know who is it for the people. What am I going to do? It's going to cost money. Yes. How much money? Yes. Where is this money going to come from? Are we prepared in the budget, or are we going to plan it? Are we going to reduce something else? And if we implement it, are people going to oppose this? And if they're going to oppose it, what is my strategy? Or before that, why should I not involve people? Take the views. Go on the TV debates. Go on schools, debates, everything. Get the pulse of the people before introducing.
Right.
Rather than having the embarrassment of withdrawing it or delaying it, stalling it, or not able to implement. So as an IAS officer, you have to advise the government correctly.
Right.
सर इसमें ये तंगी हो सकती है, इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. इट हैपेंड इन द ईयर सो एंड सो कंट्री और सो एंड सो प्लेस सो एंड सो स्टेट लाइकवाइज. तो आपको होलिस्टिक व्यू लेना है, किसी भी चीज़ का होलिस्टिक व्यू लेना है. यू डन सो वेल, इट्स वेरी गुड. जस्ट टू आई थॉट आई रीइंफोर्स दिस पॉइंट्स विद यू. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. So, very nice interview, very nice personality, very proud personality. You have officer-like qualities because you are serving officer. Just to disclose, I am Agmut IAS. Okay, so I could consider that you are part of my fraternity only. So, your plus points already, honorable members and honorable chairperson has mentioned. Few things, you say yes sir a lot. Like when we ask a question, you just hear the question and take a moment and answer. Don't say that yes sir, that you have grasped the question. And there was one time where sir was asking who has done this, and you had said 5-6 times yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. So he was asking who has done it.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind, that yes sir sometimes becomes irritating. Second thing is, in one answer you mentioned that sir, right now I am going blank. You are exposing your fragility here.
Okay.
The questions were provocative, questions were difficult. It's okay, you don't answer, it's okay. You say, sir, I'm not able to recall, I'll read more about it. Don't expose yourself that, sir, I'm going totally blank on it. I would have given very less marks. Third thing, when I asked you about your video questions, I deliberately asked those questions to know. Whenever, see, you are an officer right now, when the panel will judge you, they will judge you from the officer point of view. Okay, they will not treat you at par with any fresher.
Right, sir.
You're already in the administrative service. So when you are asked any challenges, don't self-incriminate. That sir, I'm getting a call in the morning from one call from this department, one call from. The moment you will become deputy commissioner, you will have hundreds of calls. So that means it cannot be your challenge.
Right.
That means you are not ready to take that responsibility where you will be 10 times or 100 times more busy and those things. So there you could have mentioned the challenge about the place, your terrain, some challenges with respect to the security situation, that how you have to operate. There it would have given their administrative point of view that yes, you are an officer and these are the challenges you are facing there. These are personal challenges कि time नहीं मिलता है and ऐसा नहीं होगा. It doesn't go along with personality of an officer. Okay, then as sir had asked about that law, wildlife protection law, you were not aware of that answer, but sir, with your due permission, you just went on generic answer what is about wildlife. Maybe he was not expecting. He could have asked you another question where you could have get more marks. If you don't know it, just say ask kindly excuse, and then we can go on to the next question. So and what our honorable chairperson had mentioned about the 370 article 370, when you came to tourism, you mentioned the data, but data was more required in the first 2-3 points where you were talking about the policies, investment and infrastructure. There you could have talked more about so much crores of investment has been done. You mentioned that many policies have been. You can give some 1 or 2 names of the policies that would have improved your marks 12, because 370 is a very important point here. Then I think that's all from my side. Rest all is very good. Just brush up, because I want to see you as an officer, so they will definitely treat you as an officer in the panel, not any fresh graduate from the. So that's from my side. If you want to take any suggestion, you take it. If you don't, that's also
So
okay.
just one thing, actually I was trying to be honest, because by challenge I did not mean problem in any way. It was just a challenge, because when you're getting so many calls, you're not able to function. It doesn't mean that I was trying to say that it was a problem.
That's okay. That's our challenge. That's everyone faces that challenge, but we don't term it as a challenge. It's a part of it. We have signed up for it.
Yes. Okay.
It may be interpreted differently. The point is,
Yes, sir.
you have to bring out as to on ground what are the difficulties, what do people want. Time and again I've been saying, लोग क्या चाहते हैं, उनके लिए क्या करना है, ऊपर से क्या ऑर्डर मिला है, ऊपर से ऑर्डर मिला ये काम करना है, लोग कुछ और चाहते हैं.
When you are writing your APR, you will never say that I received so many calls, so therefore but you can certainly say what honorable member told you, that about that place, the terrain difficulty or whatever stresses, that uniqueness of that place you can certainly say, but certainly not that you got so much work, so you could not.
That
उसको बिल्कुल avoid.
as an officer, अगर स्टूडेंट होता तो वो बोलता सर मेरे को टाइम नहीं मिलता, मुझे मास्टर्स भी खत्म करना है, मुझे घर का भी देखना है. Officer, talk like an officer.
It's part of your. Suppose you can't say that वो घर भी देखना है, वो भी देखना. That sort of thing is to be.
Same when I asked you about that interesting experience, so you mentioned about toilet day. अगर ये मैं किसी कॉलेज स्टूडेंट से ही पूछता तो वो भी यही बोलता सर हमने एक ब्लड डोनेशन कैंप ऑर्गेनाइज किया था. एज अ वीडियो आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग सम एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव, वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव है आई नो, बट something more related to some policy. Sir, while implementing this policy I faced this issue and I was so happy when I got through. वो लोगों ने उसको protest किया, but I was able to negotiate and get things done and execute whatever was supposed to.
So this was the import of the question.
So from a college mindset, shift to that officer mindset.
So really, the suggestion that is being given to you through so many questions is that if you suppose you go back home and you read about this any of the questions, for instance, हम लोगों ने जो किया है farm bill, you read about it and then you can at the back of your mind keep it. If there is a question, you can drag the board into, you drop that farm bill. So it will be almost you have drawn the board to your area of strength. That can be your, but if you are not mastered it, then certainly not. कोई भी farm bill है, wildlife protection, go and read about it. If you know it, then you try to draw the board into your own area of strength. That will give you. So these are, what will be your dress code? Of course, you are an officer, so you would be knowing the thing. Sorry, plain sorry, no?
Yes,
yeah, not a very flashy one. Yeah, कुछ पूछना है?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what? This is for the first time that in a row I have not answered questions. So does that go?
No problem.
You're not supposed to know everything.
What you have answered is more important. What you have not answered will not matter at all. That you've already done in your mains. That's how you've come up to this place. Now what you are answering is more important and how you have answered. वो articulation, वो flow, वो delivery, and that catching the attention of the board. Those things are more important. 5 questions in a row, you say no, doesn't matter at all.
And most impressive thing is that even after not answering, you did not get stressed.
Yeah, that is.
And the next answer which sir asked about sociology, you answered well, as if nothing happened before.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's a plus point, that you don't answer 5 questions, still you are not stressed and you are answering such nicely.
But does that create a very bad
No,
impression?
No.
Not at all.
I am impressed. that
Three of us are conscious.
that despite not answering the next answer, you did not get stressed, you did
You
not, I could
maintained your
not see your
composure.
sweat.
Maintained your composure despite this.
That is what the board is looking at, not where you slipped and you are not able to get up. That is lethal.
Knowing the answers to the music questions will not make you a better officer, but
But
handling
it's
the
in your
situation.
hobby. It's in your hobby, so you should know.
That's a separate thing.
That's
But
it.
what I'm impressed about is that you were able to manage the stress and go ahead. That's all. And go as an officer. That's all my
Yeah.
request.
So many questions could be on your conduct rules. You're a serving officer, so which conduct rules guides your is for your this thing
Yes, sir.
on your services. सर्विस के बारे में काफी जानना होगा.
वो एक्चुअली एग्जीक्यूटिव मैजिस्ट्रेट मैंने इसीलिए पूछा था बिकॉज वीडियोज आर यूजुअली एग्जीक्यूटिव मैजिस्ट्रेट कुछ जगहों पे, तो अभी वो न्याय संहिता और सीआरपीसी का जो वो सब है ना, जस्ट हैव अ आइडिया ऑन दैट बिकॉज यू आर एक्चुअली फंक्शनिंग with those CRPC and those things. So उसके लिए my second question would have been that if you had said कि yes I am an executive magistrate.
उसमें अगर कुछ कमी रह गया, you say that the government of India has already taken up training modules for them, for the officers, क्योंकि FIR अभी पुराने वाले उसमें लिख रहे हैं IPC में, they don't know how to, so training module has already been doing, so MHA has taken steps to do that.
Because after promotion you will come into SDM or something, no?
And then we know
तो करना ही
then,
पड़ेगा.
yes, आपको day one से you will have to, you won't have
तो
time
एग्जीक्यूटिव मैजिस्ट्रेट पढ़ के जाना है वो अच्छे से.
ठीक ना.
Thank you,
All the best, Aparajita.